The Real Monica Adams Show is brought to you by Exist Stretch. Stop by for your free consultation and 30-minute introductory stretch today.
Well, happy Tuesday. Welcome into the Real Monica Adams Show. And yes, the Exist Stretch studios that we are in. Today, I feel like I need to be stretched big time. I just cracked my knee on the table, right? When we think we have hurts and traumas and we just need to feel better, the place for you to go is Exist Stretch. They are located in Arnold and in St. Louis Hills. And I love the fact that more and more, as I am meeting people or I'm training clients, they're all talking about, okay, I've been hearing you. I need to get in. Yes, heed the warning that if you don't, that you're just going to feel like absolutely horrible. I mean, again, I've been stretched probably 4 times now, and each time I just think I want to go back again and again. So I've been stretched by Trisha, who you're seeing right there, but then also Tim has done a wonderful job. I look forward to also meeting Claire and Justin. So they have 4 different stretch therapists, and they're all FST certified. If you want to go in to see Trisha, she is in St. Louis Hills, and then on Friday, she's at Arnold. Tim is at the Arnold location, and then Claire and Justin are at the St. Louis Hills location. So again, this is for everyone, depending on how you're feeling, but also we keep mentioning all of you weekend warriors and all of you getting back into your sports. Saw a bunch of golfers on the course at about 5:30 this morning. You want to have a better game? Get stretched as well. ExistStretch.com and at ExistStretch on social media. Well, welcome into the show. We have a great one for you today. I posted last night a video of me and Jim talking about estate planning, something that we have put off, and I want you to be honest with me how many of you have done the same. We actually started the process probably about 7 or 8 years ago, and then we never did anything with it. I know some of you get online and think, well, I can do it myself. I can do living trust and wills. Can you, or are there missing pieces to it? And then when you're no longer here, does it all end up in probate court? We've got so many questions that I've come up with, but I want you to just load them up today. If you have to race off and you're not going to get a chance to see the whole show, drop a comment in and then come back to it, and be sure to make sure that you are heard. Share, like, and follow the live stream as well, so all of your friends and family can know. That video I posted last night already has thousands of people saying, yep, I haven't done this. I need that. Who do I call? Well, the Estep law firm, Shawn Estep, is going to be our guest coming up in about 10 minutes. Let's kick things off, though, with some news you can use, and we always start off with the weather. And I'm going to say, very first thing I said out of my mouth this morning when I looked at the weather forecast was, wow, today's going to be pretty. Yeah, it already is. Get out nice. It's actually cool this morning. Really pretty to go for a walk, or as I mentioned, you want to get out and get that golf game already. 83 and sunshine today. The Cardinals are in action. They'll be playing at Busch Stadium. 65 degrees. Looks like a great one. 40% chance of rain and storms, though, come in tomorrow with a high of 84. Thursday, a 60% chance of afternoon storms with a high of 85. Friday, 70%. We just keep ramping up as we head into the weekend. And then we have a 40% chance of rain and storms on Saturday as well with a high of 87. So enjoy today, because then for the next 4 days, rain in the forecast. Sunday, 93. Look at next week as we get into summer. 96 on Monday, 95, and no mention of rain on Tuesday. July 1st then kicks off 95 as we hit a week from tomorrow, and Thursday 94. So enjoy these 80s. They are not staying around for very long. We're going to start our news with health news. And for those that are on blood pressure medications, something that you need to know about as we discuss recalls. This one is for potential ineffectiveness, which obviously can cause a lot of problems. So we start with the medication that might be ineffective. The FDA recalling almost 12,000 bottles of these tablets. The pills have an expiration date of April 2027. The recall affects 100 tablet bottles, and the diuretic as well, chlorothalidone. It is used to treat high blood pressure, fluid retention that is caused by congestive heart failure, severe liver disease, kidney disease, or treatment with a hormone or steroid medicine, according to the Mayo Clinic. So for those of you that might be on blood pressure medicine, do me a favor and check the comment section right now. I'm listing this story so that you can see the exact recall and then what it has as far as the expiration date, so you can see that if this is in fact something that would impact you. Popular frozen foods are also being recalled for potential plastic contamination, according to the FDA, the company known for its wide variety of vegetarian and plant-based alternatives, recalling their buffalo chicken nuggets nuggets, and hot and spicy sausage patties. The recalled varieties were sold in the U.S., Puerto Rico, Costa Rica. According to the FDA, the affected products in the U.S. include the Morningstar Farms Buffalo Chicken Nuggets. July 27th was the best if used by date. And then the hot and spicy sausage patties, July 5th for the best date. If you have these products, discard them or contact the company where you got them for a full refund. Well, I saw this last night, and right away I was like, oh, I didn't know how old he was, but I'm telling you what, one of the greatest icons in music. And this morning I saw a post everywhere, including a really cool imagination of Whitney Houston in heaven greeting her dear friend. That's what we mostly know Clive Davis for, right? We know him with his tie of making Whitney Houston who she was. I also saw a post from Chris Daughtry talking about the legend passing away at the age of 94. Carlos Santana, Alicia Keys, Janis Joplin. I mean, he was one of the most powerful figures behind some of the greatest superstars. He was hospitalized early this year following an upper respiratory issue, was released a few days later. His death in his Manhattan apartment was confirmed by his publicist, who also shared a statement from the family. To the world, our father was the iconic music legend whose vision, instincts, and relentless pursuit of excellence shaped the soundtrack of countless lives. He discovered, he mentored, and he championed the greatest artists in modern music history, leaving an indelible mark on culture that will endure for generations. He also, by the way, was directing the careers of everyone from Barry Manilow to American Idol winners Carrie Underwood and Kelly Clarkson. When I tell you, he truly was behind some of the greatest. So rest in peace to him. And then Alan Greenspan, the former Federal Reserve Chairman, he died at the age of 100. Former U.S. Federal Reserve Chair died on Monday from complications of Parkinson's disease. Okay, yesterday, if you watched the show, we featured the March of Dimes. Susie Voss was in, Dr. Kathy Bligard, and Christina Shockley, who is a mother of 2 sets of twins. So I thought we should do these stories today. She's not in a boat by herself. Here's a family that welcomed the 3rd set of twin boys on Father's Day. All boys. She had all girls. Now, it was interesting. The Arkansas man and his wife welcomed their 3rd set on Father's Day. Richard and Lindsay Skelton. They have 3 sets of twins, all born within the last 7 years. And Richard called it the best ever. In fact, his comment was, I could take hundreds. I was like, oh my gosh. Lindsay said she wondered what the chances were. She called it scary, but also really awesome. And Richard said that parenthood involves nonstop laundry and dishes and so much more. He said parenthood is the most important thing that someone can be a part of. I mean, that's incredible blessings. And that's not it. There's then sisters with twin siblings that were both giving birth to twin boys just 13 hours apart. This is in Texas. Rainey Jones and Darian Lowe learned they were pregnant at the very same time and then both discovered they were expecting twins. She said, she found out she was pregnant, then I found out I was pregnant. She found out she was having twins. I found out I was having twins. 2 sisters, both giving birth to twin boys within 13 hours of each other, continuing a 3-generation pattern of twins in their family. Isn't that unbelievable? It's just absolutely crazy to me, right? It's just blessings upon blessings upon blessings. Okay, we've got a lot of exciting things happening in the movie scene here in St. Louis, but some of you might want to know about casting for movies and TV roles all across the nation. And if you do, I'm going to give you a link right now that is to a website called Backstage, because there are several age groups that they're looking for to fill multiple different roles. And this is literally from teenagers all the way up to about, I think I've seen 60 in Los Angeles, as well as in Austin, Texas. They're doing one in the New York area. Some of these have to do with kind of influencer aspects, and then others in New Hampshire, Rhode Island. I saw one in Boston. Again, multiple ones that they are needing for movies and film right now. So take a look at your comment section. I just dropped that in for you. And if you're interested, you might want to apply. Well, we know him as Walt. Keith Tkachuk, congratulations, inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame. In fact, he was inducted right after he found out his sons would become teammates. The Ottawa Senators traded Captain Brady Tkachuk to the Florida Panthers. They already have his brother Matthew on the roster, so it reunites a pair of players who starred for the U.S. in February's Winter Olympics. You remember that? And then on Monday, the family patriot matriarch, nicknamed Walt, became part of a player Hall of Fame class that includes many others, including Patrice Bergeron, who won the Stanley Cup with Boston back in 2011, and the Selke Trophy as the league's top defensive forward 6 times. So congratulations to Keith for going in, and how cool to have your sons on the exact same team together. Well, I was asking you over the last week if you're watching the World Cup. We absolutely are. I've watched both U.S. games, and now they've got a game late Thursday night at 9 o'clock against Turkey. But where are you watching the game? Are you watching at home? Are you watching at a place of business, at a restaurant? Maybe the Amsterdam Tavern? There are so many people that have been watching there. In fact, they shut the streets down. They put a big screen up. So St. Louis has been prepared for the World Cup, and many places that people are going. The World Cup is hosted in Mexico, Canada, and the United States. The closest for us would be Kansas City. And while we may not be hosting the games, security in the region has definitely been stepped up. Lambert International Airport preparing for the incoming flights during the World Cup. They also sent extra security to Kansas City to help out. In St. Charles and St. Louis City, the soccer fever can be felt. 2 businesses are prepared for fans. City SC is hosting watch parties for U.S. soccer fanatics to follow the country's World Cup journey. The next watch party will be held at the Ultra Club coming up on Thursday. The event will also have opportunities to win door prizes, including FIFA merchandise. And then Tango Argentina, located in St. Charles City, was started by a father and a mother and father. The couple began selling empanadas at local events in 2000 and eventually opened a brick and mortar store 10 years ago. The restaurant serves Argentinian food, and they will be hosting watch parties for all of the games. A lot of other places. And so if you're going, like maybe I said, Amsterdam Tavern, which is in the city on Morganford, not far from Tower Grove Park, another great place. If those are not the places you're going, we would like to know where you are going. And again, the game tomorrow night, 9 p.m., because we'd like to join you. This is just really getting exciting. And there's the rundown for you, as you can see, for tomorrow night's game. The St. Louis Cardinals are in action at Busch Stadium, and they just squeaked out a win yesterday, 3-2 against the Arizona Diamondbacks. It's the same 2 teams today at 6:45. And in the National Day of calendar, it's National Pink Day. And Zach asked me, did I plan this? I did not know it was National Pink Day, but hey, I guess I was feeling it. So today, grab your pink. National Hydration Day, especially keeping those doggies hydrated. National Detroit-style Pizza Day. I don't know that I've had Detroit-style pizza. National Pecan or Pecan Sandies Day. That is how we do it. We get you all up to date and things that we think you can use. And again, no negativity on this show. All about hope and inspiration and positivity and giving you things that you need. Today especially, we want you to be interactive. Ask any questions that if you have to run off, as I mentioned, drop the question in right now. I had a post that I put up last night. I'm going to make sure I look at that for anybody that may have questions about what we're discussing today. Estate planning. Do not put it off any longer. Christy, good morning to you. Let me say good morning to Shawn and Linda and Julie. We actually did our financial planning last week while I was off work. It feels good to have it done. Financial planning is one thing. We're talking estate planning today. Kathleen, good morning on this beautiful day. It is gorgeous, is it not? All right, folks. Good morning, Karen. I want you to line up those questions. Drop them in for me. Actually, as we go to break, let me do this. How many of you that are watching right now, or those that watch later on, do a little hashtag replay, how many of you have done your estate planning already? And do you think it is done the right way? Let me know that. Just say yes or no as we head into break. Shawn Estep is the person I would highly recommend that you turn this over to. I've been told he was the best in the business, and we're working with him right now on our own. The Estep Law Firm, and today's topic, estate planning. Don't go anywhere.
You guys, are we ready to raise some big money tonight? $25,000. And $25,000 right here.
It's yours for $2,100. Nipple, wow. And that is how it's done.
$75,000. $75,000 that quick.
Monica Adams is smart, disciplined, polished, and extraordinary.
She comes with enthusiasm.
This is what I love. Whenever we are bidding, it is always to see who you get to be involved with.
It is a great time. It is equally entertaining as it is advantageous for fundraising.
Get ready to scream your heads off because this is going to be a lot of fun.
She brings so much energy and so much passion, and she's a delight to have as part of our IWA family.
Start the bidding at $1,000 and we'll go from there. 1,500, 15, 3,000. Yes, there we go. Yours for 4,500. Sir, if you will also give me 4,500, you can also go. And there's $9,000. There it is, $9,000, right like that.
She is so engaging and energetic, and she just brings a spark to any event she's part of.
I so appreciate the teamwork. After 5 seconds, I feel like we're best friends. I can tell she is a team player and she really wants to advocate for the organization.
Truly, you have the most incredible energy. And of my 15 years of auctioneering, you are one of my favorites.
I hired Monica Adams because she is full of energy. She always comes prepared, and she's the real Monica Adams. One of the things that I love about Monica is her ability to put a room very quickly at ease. She also is a very passionate individual, which comes across really well on stage, also one-on-one with her. She can set a crowd at ease so quickly. She has a very spunky personality and such a go-get-em attitude. I really look up to her in a lot of ways.
Monica, I really love the way you run this auction. I really do. You give them every opportunity in the world, and then it's all
It's off the plate.
Please consider Monica Adams as your auctioneer.
Unbelievable.
To hire Monica Adams as your auctioneer, email info@therealmonicaadams.com.
Welcome back and welcome into the Real Monica Adams Show. If you're just tuning in, I posted about this last night and it definitely was generating some buzz of people saying, ooh, I need to know about that. One lady that said, I started to do that, but I want that binder. I want everything put together. I know the guy for you. Let me introduce you to our guest, Shawn Estep, again, with the Estep Law Firm. He is the founder of the Estep Law Firm and has helped over 1,000 families protect what matters most, the people they love, the values they cherish, the legacy they hope to leave behind. Shawn helps families prepare for life's uncertainties, clarity, and confidence by creating family-centered estate plans. Let's talk about Medicaid and veterans benefits plans, special needs plans, and business succession plans. He guides you through these important decisions and helps you protect the people that you love, preserve your dignity and independence, and choose trusted decision makers who carry out the wishes when it matters most. And he helps families create these practical plans that provide the peace of mind today and then adapt as life changes. He teaches his clients how their plans work. He'll be answering questions again right now that you have and then help you make informed decisions with confidence. So let me welcome my friend in. Thank you for coming in. This is a show that I've been wanting to do for a while now.
Well, I've been wanting to do it for a while too, and I'm glad I can do this.
Absolutely. It's something, Shawn knows this, Jim and I went through the process, just kind of the beginning phases of it, and then we never did anything with it. And I looked back, it was probably 9-10 years ago. All that time went by, and this is the problem. Do not think, number one thing is everybody puts it off because we feel we have endless days here. And everything's okay, and then all of a sudden something really tragic happens.
Right, and I saw on your Facebook page somebody had responded to you and said, yeah, my husband and I have wanted to do this, but my husband feels like if we do this, something will happen. And I get that all the time. And it's not true, but I think people get that thought process. Well, if I just ignore it, maybe it won't happen.
Yeah, but then you ignore it, and then look what happens, the mess that is left behind for your families. I mean, again, you want to take care of yourself. You want to take care of your spouse. We discuss our own health aspect, health directives, financial. We think about then what happens to all of our loved ones, because you don't want this to end up in probate court.
Well, more than that, I think we want to take matters into our own hands. We want to do this our way. And when you and I talked, and Jim talked, really was focused on family, right? Who are the people that you are planning for? Who are the people you care about? Who are the loved ones that you're trying to make sure if something happens to you, they're taken care of? So that's the most important part of what we do, and that's where we focus first. And then once we focused on that, we'll ask you, who are the people you trust? Who are the ones that are going to make those decisions for you? And it's, generally going to be family members or people you trust. In your case, I think you had some friends making decisions for you.
Yeah, it's interesting because I had not given it a lot of thought. And for me, I just wanted it to speak from my heart. So when we sat down, and we're going to walk through how this all works, by the way. When we sat down, I looked at Jim and I'm like, this just came to me. What do you think about this person? So yes, in my head, it starts with my own immediate family. And, my father's not here anymore. So to me, I have that paternal role by my oldest brother. So I was like, But here's the thing though, Shawn, and I think this was very important. You said this as we were wrapping up. The people we're actually putting, and I just got to chill for some reason, the people we're putting in those roles, you have to have a discussion with them because they are taking on a lot. They want to carry out your wishes, but it's not just like, oh, hey, I'm putting you down there, no big deal. It is a big deal. And you said you'd like to actually offer training because it's a big role that they're doing.
Yeah, and I think that's something that we as attorneys have failed in the past to do, is to give families some sort of training so they understand what their role is as a decision maker. I call it trustee training, but it really covers all of the roles that a family member or friend would take in terms of making financial and healthcare decisions. They need to know, what does this big red book do? It's a big red book. And, it can be a little intimidating.
Yes.
So they need to know what it means. And we also need to have conversations with family members who are beneficiaries.
Absolutely.
Because being a beneficiary can be a difficult process too. Well, why didn't mom and dad just give that to me outright? Why don't I just spend the money?
Yep.
Good question. Why not?
Again, and speaking of which, questions, load them up. I'm seeing some come in. We're going to get to those in just a second. Let's address this, that big red book. When Shawn and I talked about doing this, and you'll be seeing Shawn on the show a lot, by the way, over the next several months, I thought you were going to give me a little binder, right? He's like, oh, hang on a second. I got this for you for the show. And I'm like, oh, dear Lord, is that what we're going to get? And he's like, yes. So one of the questions on the post last night was a woman who said that she was doing this, but she wanted it all organized. And she's like, is that something I can have? And I said, well, you would work with Shawn, and if you've done some pieces of it, and again, there's probably a lot of untied bows out there of people that maybe started it or tried to do it on their own, and they want you to put it all in something like that.
Or maybe they didn't actually have a conversation with the attorney they spoke with. Oftentimes, people will miss that opportunity to have a conversation and get clarity. The question is, who's going to be your beneficiary, who your decision maker is going to be. Great. Here's your trust. Here's your will. Here's your powers of attorney. Whereas what I do is I have conversations with you about your family. What do you want to do? Let's clarify this a little bit. What makes the most sense for your family in terms of beneficiaries? What makes the most sense in terms of when do they get it? How do they get it?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes,
So
absolutely.
it's different, and that's not why it's thicker. That's another conversation. But it should be organized, and it should be your plan, not somebody else's plan.
Absolutely. And again, let me give you the information for those of you that wrote yesterday and said, okay, how do I work with Shawn? We're going to put it up on the screen so that you have all the information that you need to know. Again, it is the Estep Law Firm. So you can go to the website, esteplawfirm.com, or you can give them a call. The phone number's on the screen for you. What would you say is the easiest way to call?
I think calling, because my assistant Laura Gonzalez would be happy to talk to you. She's really nice and easy to work with. She'll get you set up with us and get you a good day and a good time.
Yes, and she's very, very sweet to work with, by the way. So the Estep Law Firm, Shawn Estep is our guest. Let me see. I'm going to go back and forth to questions that you have, any comments. Again, if you have started this process, whatever your questions are. Good morning. Ann said, I'm listening while I'm out for a walk. I am working on my estate planning now. Have a great day. Okay, so Ann, reach out to Shawn. You do not want to do this on your own. That is one of the biggest things that I wanted to stress today. Don't try to do this on your own, because that's when there could be problems. Linda said, glad you're speaking on this. We talk about it all the time. And I was just getting ready to make ourselves one of those binders for our son so he has everything he needs to know at his fingertips when the time comes. Let me just address this right away. What is the percentage of people that come to you after they feel like it's just a mess and they try to do it on their own?
So that's what we call a cleanup in aisle 3. So I get them on occasion. And what it ends up being is maybe they went to LegalZoom.com, or they went to an attorney that does wills and trusts as part of a larger practice. And, my role isn't to complain about what that other attorney did or put them down because the family did something.
Right.
What my goal is to clarify and say, did this do what you expected it to? So we'll talk about what it does and what it doesn't do. Are these things you would prefer for it to do? Would you prefer that your family be protected? Would you prefer if something happens and you need long-term care in a nursing home, that your family can respond to that and manage that issue? If the answer is yes, then maybe we need to have a longer conversation. Maybe it's not just a set of documents. Maybe it's a plan.
Right. When people come, a lot of times I don't think they even know. Like they're coming going, well, I think I need a will. I think I need a trust. What's the difference between the two? How do I protect myself in elder law, etc.? So first, can we just start with that? Because I know it seems simplistic, but I don't think it is at all. What is a living trust? What's a will?
Okay. So let's just start with the basic premise that wills and trusts are tools. That the important part is the conversation and it's the plan. Okay, so the way I like to look at it is, what if you're building a deck? Do you go out and say, hey, I need tools, I need, hammers and saws and all that stuff? Or do you have somebody like a contractor who can put a plan together and has the tools themselves and can just ask you questions? What color of deck do you want? How many people are going to be on it? Are you going to have a hot tub on it? Do we need to make it?
July 24th.
What else do you want? July 24th. There you go. Those are all things that you ask the questions about. Are the tools important, or is the deck and the things you want important?
Okay.
So let's talk about the tools, because you do need to know that person knows how to use a saw and a hammer and so forth. So the tools we use in estate planning are primarily wills and trusts. And I say wills first because that's what most people are familiar with in terms of estate planning documents. That tool is used for probate. A will is a probate tool.
Okay.
It tells the probate court who the personal representative is. That's the person that's the financial decision maker under the will. And they're going to take any property that you own personally through the probate process. They're going to pay your bills, and then they're going to transfer that to your beneficiaries under the terms of the will. The other things that it does is lets you, if you have minor children, you can name guardians, appoint guardians. It also says that if you don't want to pay bond, that's a requirement of probate if you don't have a will or a will that says you don't have to pay bond. That's just an insurance policy that says that creditors and beneficiaries are going to get paid, and that if the personal representative absconds with money, that the estate will still have something left to pay those creditors and beneficiaries. So that's a will. It's a probate document, and in Missouri it has to be presented to the probate court for admittance within 12 months of the passing of the decedent.
12 months, okay.
Okay. A trust, on the other hand, is another set of instructions, but it's a set of instructions that a trust maker like you and I put together, Fred and Wilma put together. That's Fred and Wilma Flintstone, by the way.
This is not the final for me and Jim. This says Fred and Wilma Flintstone. I brought it home and Jim's like, oh, this is ours already? I'm like, no, honey, we have still a lot of things. And by the way, that's very important to say. There are a lot of things you have to do to make this final with them. And so he was like, Monica, we've got some, few things left that we have to do. And I know it feels, we're all in such a rushed world and it feels a little cumbersome, but you've got to get it done, because otherwise the clock is ticking all these days that you don't get it done before you sign it all and get that binder.
And that's why having a trust is different. It's a set of instructions that we as trust makers give to a person called a trustee. I don't like to use a lot of legal language in the office, so generally speaking, I'll say financial decision maker and healthcare decision maker.
Right.
So the financial decision maker in a trust is called a trustee, and their sole role is to distribute property for the benefit of beneficiaries. And of course, we as trust makers are also the trustee of our trust initially and also the beneficiaries. So we distribute the two things that I put into trusts, principal and income. The trust says distribute principal and income for the benefit of the beneficiaries. Again, trust makers to start off with. And those instructions go on to say, if we become incapacitated, take care of us in a fashion which we become accustomed financially. And on our passing, it says collect our stuff, pay our bills, and distribute our property, either to our surviving spouse or to our children or to charitable beneficiaries or a mix there of those.
Again, if you're just tuning in, Shawn Estep of the Estep Law Firm, and I just saw a comment from Michelle. So, Michelle, I'm guessing you have to run off. She said, are you going to post this session? Well, the session's live right now. As soon as the show is done, it's there for you. So I don't know if Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, we have 7 platforms that we're on right now. The ones that stick around forever, YouTube, as well as X and Rumble and LinkedIn. In 30 days, Meta, unfortunately, does get rid of the shows, but that's why it's important to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check out my website, therealmonicaadams.com. You'll know where all of those are. So, Michelle, if you have a question, drop it in for me. Otherwise, yes, as soon as this is over, it's live right now. As soon as it's over, it will be there for you. Katie said, we have completed our estate planning. I highly encourage people to do this ASAP. Katie, I remember you going through this, and so and actually, she was in my mind when you said, Monica, the people you're choosing. Remember, this is a big deal. This is something that is added on to all of whatever they're doing in their lives. I know how busy she was with this. She said, my dad had a basic will. He thought trusts were not necessary, so everything went to probate, and it was very stressful, I remember, as I was the executor. Also be mindful about what will happen with your property.
Exactly.
Good points, Katie. Linda said, since our property does not have a lien on it and our son is already on the deed as a TOD, does it still go into probate? Same with any other thing that has his name listed as TOD or beneficiary.
That's a great question. I get that a lot. Can't I just do transfers on death, pay on death, joint ownership, beneficiary designations? Those are all things that in Missouri we can do to avoid probate. What it doesn't do is it doesn't deal with incapacity issues. What happens if you can't make decisions yourself?
Right.
It doesn't deal with issues if your beneficiary predeceases you or you die during the same common accident. There's some things you can do with some beneficiary designations, beneficiary deeds to avoid issues with a death of a beneficiary. But generally speaking, it's better if you have a trust because for a number of reasons, there's more flexibility, there are more opportunities to protect your assets so that they don't go to the wrong people. So those are all reasons to use a trust versus a will or what we call will substitutes.
Okay, and then Linda, there was a comment that came in from Linda earlier that's not showing up on my phone here. We did our will years ago, but need to change our executor. We have listed now that our son is an adult, but aside from that, we have already changed our property to list him as the transfer of death on our deeds, also on our car titles, same with all the bank accounts as a beneficiary. What else do we need to do?
So again, a trust is more flexible.
Okay.
And if at some point they want to plan for Medicaid, plan for long-term care, they're probably going to want to spend a little bit more time having conversation about a trust, a revocable trust to manage property that they want to continue to control. If they want to do some long-term care planning, you need to talk to your financial advisor about long-term care insurance. I knew I had my friend Christina, our friend Christina here yesterday.
Yes.
She's a great person to talk to about long-term care insurance. And then talk to me about doing asset protection. Setting aside something to make sure that if bad things happen to good people and you need long-term care in a nursing home or you need, you have a catastrophic healthcare event, that some money is set aside. Does that make sense?
It does. And I think another question, we're going to take a break here in just a second. Jim brought up a question. He's like, okay, so these people that we are determining in these roles, should we have it be diverse with regards to age? Because he's like, the people that we're listening right now are probably right around the same age as us. Should we be thinking about people that are younger? I think it was a really good question.
That is a good question. And that's why it's really useful to have a conversation and clarify that. So what we look for are the people young enough and good enough health to make decisions for a long period of time. And our goal is to have a conversation with your attorney every 3 to 5 years because those things do change. Your health can change, your personal health can change in 3 to 5 years. The health of the people that you have as decision makers can change. Your children who are 18 today, in 5 years are going to be 23.
Right.
They may be now good people to make as decision makers. So absolutely, you need to look at their age. You need to look at whether they're going to be a good advocate, especially for healthcare.
Right.
You need to make sure they're good advocates for healthcare. You don't want someone that doesn't know what a checkbook is to be making financial decisions. You also need to look at how close they are. It's not as important for a financial decision maker if they're, in Seattle or even Taiwan. I had a client whose daughter was in Taiwan and she was their decision maker.
Wow.
But for healthcare, you want somebody that's a little more local.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you want someone that understands healthcare and can be an advocate and have conversations with physicians and other caregivers.
Well, and it's an emotional roller coaster for them,
It
right?
is.
They've lost you, and now they are carrying out your wishes. And so, again, I think the training aspect of what you're talking about is so very important. And, he mentioned this earlier. It's like, I think this is where us attorneys, we miss out on that. We're going through all the motions of this is what we have to do, but wait a minute, well, this is a big deal for all of you. So, Joe, I'm so glad you're watching. I saw last night when I posted this reel that you were tagged in this, and the person said, Joe, I hope you're actually seeing that this is going to take place. How often does an estate plan need updating? And Monica, I can't believe my wife saw your post yesterday. She is in France at the moment. Well, good. Hey, this Real Monica Adams show goes international, so you can see us anywhere. Ann just said, I am learning so much. Thank you. Yes, Ann, Joe, when it comes time for you to do this, and I mean this, I don't want to make him blush, but I will tell you, from every person that found out that we decided to work with you, they all said, oh, you've got the best. You could not have had somebody better. And Christina said that yesterday.
Okay.
Christina's like, he is the best. And there's a girl here that we work with also that is one of the members here at Adventure Unknown. And she's like, oh, no, you want to go with Shawn. Trust me on this. And I'm like, okay, so do you, by the way. Folks, do not put this off any longer. Esteplawfirm.com. It's E-S-T-E-P, esteplawfirm.com. If you want to call them, it's 636-233. Is that a 2? 2017. My
That's a
poor
2.
eyes. I'm getting older. I need this. 636-233-2017. You can also send an email to info@esteplawfirm.com. Again, estate planning and elder law. Keep your comments and questions coming in. We're going to continue our conversation on this very important topic today with Shawn. So don't go anywhere.
What if you could start your day feeling loose, relaxed, and ready? Deep hydrotherapy right in your backyard. No commute, no appointments, just warmth, relief whenever you need it. Sore muscles recover, tight joints loosen up, tension you carry all day, gone. Relax with your family or friends, or work out with our Michael Phelps Edition Swim Spas. Worried about maintenance? We have factory-trained service nearby whenever you need it. Plus, we're here for you long-term if you have any questions or need to refill supplies. You can even test spas at our showrooms. Spas and More, A+ rated, locally owned for 20 years. We put the ah in spa.
Welcome back to the Real Monica Adams Show. Great topic, and surprisingly one I have not addressed in 3.5 years. So it was about time. And this is, by the way, not the only time you're going to see Shawn on the show. So if you're rushing around today, come back and watch the show. Yes, it's available for you immediately thereafter on the platforms that you're watching on, or again, YouTube is always a good one to go to as well. We're talking about estate planning and something to not put off. I know it's a really interesting comment that guy mentioned of, I think if I do this, it's like I'm manifesting something happening to me.
Yeah.
No, you are protecting yourself and your loved ones. So last night I posted our reel with that big binder, and Michelle said, or Micheline said, I did mine after my mom passed away as she had nothing and it was a nightmare. I'd love the binder to organize everything. Is that something I can get? That's what all of your clients get, right?
That's what all my clients get.
Okay, so yes, you reach out and then you start working with him, and that is what you get, so it doesn't feel like it's a mess. Brenda said we did ours several years ago. It's an important step, not only for yourself, but more importantly, for your heirs. Yes, Carrie, this is what many people's comments is. We've been putting it off. My husband thinks if he plans, it will happen. It's our goal this year, planning to schedule our meeting in August or September. I'll definitely listen to the show. Thank you for that, by the way. Scott said it's important. I did it many years ago. Glad it's done. It's been updated as life happens. So yes.
Good point. Yeah,
that is a very good point. So
yes.
It's not just a one and done, most likely.
Absolutely. Scott had the right idea. Things happen. And again, we try to encourage people to come in every 3 to 5 years and talk to their attorney. They get to talk to their financial advisor, at least hopefully every year. But attorneys you should talk to every 3 to 5, because that's kind of when things change, people get older or get old enough,
right?
And things change financially. So those are good times to stop and think and go over your plan and make sure it still does what you expect it to.
And there was an important point also that was brought up, that when we talk about the trust, that you're funding the trust.
Right. So you spend this money on this wonderful, beautiful book, and you don't put anything in it. It's like buying a new car and not putting gas in the tank. It's not going to go very far. So that's one of the challenges we see with estate plans that don't work, is they're not funded. There's nothing in the trust. So what we do is we work with our client. We work with their financial advisors. We're there to answer questions if they have questions about bank accounts, if they go to HR at their work and try and get things into the trust, we'll work with them there. So we really encourage our clients to do the funding, and we're going to have a new program coming up probably towards the end of the summer, where we'll actually be following up with a client and helping them with the funding in a more aggressive fashion, because again, we want our plans to work for the client.
Absolutely. You don't want to have all this done and then at the end go, okay, we didn't follow steps that we should have followed. But again, that is, if you're working with Shawn, you don't have to, he's taking all of that guesswork out of it. That's what his team will do. Kim said, we just completed ours at the age of 60, but it's done. Right? It's the aspect that it was put off, and I know the clock starts ticking and you get into your 50s and 60s and you're thinking, we need to do this. Juanita said, everyone needs to do this. Exactly. 22 years of probate because my mom didn't have a will. My parents divorced and she didn't think she needed one. She felt she had her 5 kids' names on things and we would all get along. It split our family. She didn't have a lot financially. 2 brothers even went to court to decide who would be the executor. Very sad, and it all could have been avoided. That is a really good story. Money is the root of all evil, and especially when someone passes away. It's unfortunate. It does split families up sometimes.
It does, and I think the example of an estate plan with a trust and estate plan where you have a will and beneficiary designations and so forth is the tale of my 2 mothers.
Yeah.
Do you have time to talk about that?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, awesome. Okay. So my mother, Joan, had a trust. It was created by a colleague of mine in Las Vegas when she lived there. My stepmother and my dad, on the other hand, decided to just get simple wills, powers of attorney for finance and healthcare, kind of the will package. And everything that they owned, at least they thought, was transfer on death, pan death, beneficiary designation, beneficiary deed, or some other non-probate transfer. My mom passed away in 2023 with a trust. All of her assets were in the trust. Thank you very much, Mom. It took us, I think my brother and I, 6 to 7 months to get everything distributed from the trust to us. Okay. My stepmother, on the other hand, she passed away in 2024. We just cashed our last check from probate February this year. So it took about 17 months from the day she died to go throughout the probate process, collect all the assets, which were distributed wide and far amongst different banks with no big instruction book on where they were, how they were funded. So again, it took 6 or 7 months for my mom and almost 17 for my stepmother. So that's a tale of a trust-based plan versus a will-based plan.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does, absolutely. And again, like I said, folks, drop in comments now. If you are running around and you didn't get a chance to, you want to shoot a message to Shawn and say, okay, I've heard it. I'm glad you guys discussed this. I know I have to do it. Look, Krista just said, I know we have to. But as I mentioned, don't put it off any longer. Donna said we just finished ours. I'm glad that, again, you are realizing the importance of having this done. So the conversations today about, again, your estate planning and the peace of mind really is what you're doing. You're creating peace of mind.
Oh, absolutely. I think once we've done a plan with a client, sometimes the biggest thing they say is that I feel so much better that I've done this.
Yes.
We've wanted to do it for so long, and that's just another thing off my mind. And every once in a while, is I get a hug out of this, which is I feel so much better. Thank you, Shawn, to get a hug. That to me is amazing because I feel like I've done something important for the family, and they appreciate it, and that's just the best part of what I do here.
Well, absolutely. I mean, the things that you're discussing, I mentioned it earlier that it is an emotional thing. It's an emotional thing to go through, but it's not something to put off, even though, yes, and again, maybe as you're talking with Shawn, which is probably why you're getting the hugs, maybe some tears come out because you're thinking about your own mortality. And I actually reached out, that there's aspects that I want to leave to charities. It's very near and dear to my heart. And I wrote one of them and I said, I actually wanted this to be a surprise to you. However, I need to know that you might be changing some things around, so I don't know how to list this. And she's like, she had a bunch of tears in a little emoji that she put to me. And she's like, I've had people say this before. I said, what happens if these charities are no longer around? Does it go to the next charity that you have listed? Obviously people, or I guess organizations that are no longer around. What happens?
Yeah. So what you can do is you can say that. You can say, look, if my beneficiary, or if my beneficiary that's a charity is no longer there, then just go to the next charity.
Next year, okay.
Alternatively, we have standard language that says that if that charity doesn't exist, our trustee will go to the next charity that's similar, that has the same mission, or if there's a successor. So for instance, I think there's a dog shelter over in Illinois that was then, I think not purchased, but became part of another larger organization. So that organization didn't exist. So now if that person had that as a beneficiary, that charity would then, money would have gone to the next charity up, that successor charity. So that's another option. Again, we give the trustee the power to find the right people or the right charity for you if that charity doesn't exist.
Absolutely. I'm hoping all these things, again, make sense to all of you. My whole thing now is to look at everyone that is a part of something that I do, and I'm all about, if you support me, I support you. I have so many charities that have hired me to do emceeing and auctioneering for them, and those are the people that I want to help, as if I'm no longer here, and I would hope that they would still be around. So you'll have a lot listed. That is the part that Shawn's waiting on for me. I'm like, I have so many I want to list. You all probably know it's to help the dogs and to help our law enforcement. Those are the two things very near and dear.
Those are all great things.
Right?
My daughter has a heart for dogs, and
absolutely,
so I get it.
Linda, I'll get to your question in just a second. So how about this one? I never thought about that questions. I came up with the category of that. One of them is, if I am married, doesn't my spouse automatically make decisions for me?
No.
See?
Not only that, but if you think about it, as soon as your kids are 18 years old, they start going to college, they go to military, you can't automatically make decisions for them either. So while they're off at college, what happens if something happens to them? Are you going to be able to make decisions on their behalf? Well, no.
Right.
You need them to have powers of attorney that give you the authority to make healthcare and financial decisions for them. So that's another thing that you should think about, especially before your kids start going off to college here in the next, month and a half?
Yeah.
August they start going back?
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me a call. Call Laura. She will set up a meeting, and we can get both you and your college-bound children at least some basic estate planning documents for them, and then we'll do something a little more extensive and appropriate for you.
I think, Shawn, most people's mindset would be, if I'm married, isn't it? It's an obvious. My husband or wife would do this. No, you have to appoint them because
you do. Now, in some cases, like healthcare decisions, you won't get a lot of pushback. But if there's any conflict amongst potential decision makers, like children and parents, or just among children, that's when those financial and healthcare documents become more necessary.
Sure.
I think most hospitals and physicians try to counsel their patients and their patients' decision makers, whether they have documents or not. But again, if there's conflict, you want to make sure that you appoint someone. Make sure it's express what you want.
And you just brought up a good point about thinking of these 18, 19, 20-year-olds again and going off to college, because at that age, most are not thinking about this. They're not thinking about financial planning, which they should. They should start
Absolutely.
at a much earlier age. What is the youngest you've ever had someone start their estate planning?
18.
Oh, good for them.
Yeah, and it's a special program we did back a few years ago for college children, college kids, and they come in 18 years old. Well, yeah, you can sign documents, so let's get it done. Let's get you going.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. I was not thinking that at 18, folks.
Well, and it's the same thing with financial planning.
Yeah.
Just as an example, my son went into the military, and the first thing I did was said, hey, talk to my friend Drew. He's former military. So they connected. My son was in Iwakuni, Japan, and he was doing his financial planning with my friend Drew here in St. Louis. So yeah.
It's so important, absolutely. Is a trust still better when we know everything is listed and going to our one and only child?
Absolutely. And the reason for that is that your one and only child, you may want what you've spent your lifetime creating, you may want it to be exclusively for them. You may not want it to go to a former spouse. You may not want it to go to somebody that sues them. I have a lot of conversations with people that say, I just want something simple. I get it. I want something simple. But do we live in a simple society? No. We live in a complex society.
Yep.
And we want to make sure that, at least I do, I want to make sure that my children, my grandchildren get what my wife and I have spent our lifetime creating.
It's funny that he says grandchildren, because he's like, okay, hold on. So you two don't have children together. I said, no, but Jim has 2 sons from previous marriage. And then we said something about grandkids. And I said, well, one of the sons doesn't want to have kids. Well, the other one says he does. And then he goes, okay, so you want to leave the grandkids? And I'm like, yeah. Oh, yeah. I wasn't even thinking about that. And then all of a sudden, you remember my comment? I said, we haven't met them yet. We might not like them.
Well, that's a thing. I love my children, but sometimes I don't like them.
You can come back to Shawn and change things.
You can. And that's kind of the thing with a trust-based estate plan, is that you can plan for things that you don't know are coming.
Sure.
A good example of that right now, I've got a client whose parents did a wonderful job. They created an estate plan in the mid-'90s. Unfortunately, 30 plus years later, things have changed. They've passed away, and the plan that they created 30 years ago doesn't really address the issues, both from a tax perspective and also from a personal perspective, that their daughter really cares about.
Right.
So now we have to adjust their plan that they created, and we're going to have to go to court to do that. So our goal is to put together a plan that's flexible enough to manage things, so that if one of our children has issues that you're not expecting, that there's flexibility in the plan to address that.
Okay.
And not every attorney does that.
That's, again, why, like I said, the other part is there are some people that are saying, we can do this for you, but they're actually in like financial planning only. And then they are not the ones that are going to do it. They reach out and they work in a partnership with a person who's an attorney. So why would you not go to a law firm in the first place? That, for me, it just finally made sense, which is why we turned this over to Shawn and why I want you to as well. So again, I've got questions. I'm going to go back and forth with your own questions. So please, this is your show. I want you to make sure that you are heard. What is the biggest financial threat facing seniors today?
Healthcare and long-term care in a nursing home. Those are the 2 biggest financial threats for them. So that's why we do Medicaid planning and veterans planning for them.
Yeah.
If they're not prepared for that type of planning yet, we try to make sure, we actually make sure that their estate planning contains the appropriate language in it that allows us to create that plan later if they can't.
And I swear, I keep saying we're all in this season right now. All my friends that are around the same age, we're all talking about caring for our aging parents and wanting to keep that person in their own home. And then when they can't, then it becomes, okay, do they go to an assisted living? Oh, do they make too much and they can't go into this one? Oh, is this one ridiculously expensive? It's like a resort. And then can I keep mom at home? There's a great organization that we have right now, Mom is at Home, and it's seniors helping seniors. But it's that elder care. It's the fact of, will Medicaid even be around for us in the coming years? These are scary things that are out there, and it's not at all to be an alarmist, but it's this. I am much more of an optimist, but in this case, I'd have to be a realist.
Yeah, being a realist is a good idea, and I think the approach I take with Medicaid planning is that we really want to give our seniors better options. Because if you don't do the planning ahead of time, if you don't prepare, then when you need nursing home care or you need home care, there are some programs that Medicaid has for home-based care. If you don't plan ahead for those, then you're going to spend more money than you would have otherwise.
Right.
And our challenge is that, especially if we're married and one of us needs nursing home care, we may have to spend down half or more of what we spent our life creating in order to apply for those benefits. That leaves our spouse at home with a lower standard of living potentially.
Right.
They may not be able to maintain the same level of dignity that they had. They certainly won't have the same lifestyle.
Exactly.
And you may not leave a legacy for children and grandchildren that may need some of that for their own care.
Well, and I'm going to take another break here, but Shawn asked one of the questions. He's like, I think all of our mindsets are thinking those younger than us immediately. And then he came back and said, well, hold on one second. Do you want to leave money for your mom? And I'm like, oh, well, yeah, I might go before my mom. I mean, these are the comments that you don't want to have in your head. And no parent ideally would want to lose a child before they would go. But we all know that we're not in charge of this, right? He is up above. So I right away was like, oh, well, yes, yep, she's doing good, but you're right. Does it run out? And then she's able to go and supplement with what I would be leaving. So again, think of all these questions. Any other questions and comments? Drop them into the section for you right now. I've got more lined up for you. I've got some rapid fire questions ready for Shawn.
Oh, great.
You ready
I'm
for him?
looking forward to that, yeah.
Shawn Estep, the Estep Law Firm. Again, we'll give you all the information of how you can make that call. You can shoot him an email and find out more about what you need to do for your own planning. EstepLawFirm.com. Please, folks, after this show, do not put it off any longer. Hi, it's Monica Adams. Thank you so much for following along with The Real Monica Adams Show. But I wanted to let you know there's so much more that I could do with you, your business, your corporation. Did you know that I'm a motivational speaker all around the world, as well as an MC and an auctioneer? So if you have an event, maybe a nonprofit organization, and you want to book me, just shoot me an email, info@therealmonicaadams.com. Welcome back to the Real Monica Adams Show, a topic that obviously I should have done a long time ago, Shawn. You can tell by all the comments coming in, and this is just during the live show. And we know a lot of you are busy in the mornings, and that's why I greatly appreciate you taking time with us. However, if you are running off, you now know this is available to you. As soon as the show wraps up, we'll also be turning some reels, so will Shawn and his team, so you'll see some of the most important things we're discussing. And then I would highly recommend you watch the entire show, but more so that you actually do that call to action, which is make your own call and do your own planning. Going over right now to Instagram, Joyful Creative says, how does durable power of attorney fit into all of this? My father-in-law has advanced Alzheimer's. First of all, I'm very sorry for that. And my husband and I are worried his cognitive ability is poor enough we won't be able to make changes. They have a trust, but we learned the financial decision maker listed is my husband's deceased aunt.
That's a wonderful question. So generally speaking, trusts won't fail for lack of a trustee. So my hope is that the trust has language in it that allows someone, either a special independent trustee or a trust protector, and don't worry about those. Don't worry about those names. Those are just people that can make changes to a trust, and in addition, maybe add a trustee if there isn't one. If that doesn't work, you may have to have a court-appointed trustee.
Okay.
So that's something that's dependent largely on the trust itself. They would want to take a look at the language and see what it says.
Good question. Again, keep them coming in. I'm dropping in over on Instagram, the website, how you can get in touch with Shawn. Just getting ready to convert our will, Debbie says, to a trust, also with some healthcare issues. We are also updating our original healthcare directive to add our now adult child to make important decisions on our part. My question also, I would add, is a trust better for when our only child marries?
Yes, that's actually a great question. When your oldest child gets married, you're going to want to make sure that if something happens to you, that what you have created goes to your son and not to your daughter-in-law until you get familiar with her and are comfortable. Mm-hmm. Okay. So even then, you never know. Life is long and things change. So you want to make sure that you have enough flexibility to deal with those changes, and also make sure that the assets are protected for your family, for your descendants, not for strangers.
Okay, let's see. Really important conversation and well framed. A lot of families do wait until a crisis to think about powers of attorney, healthcare directives, or guardianship. Content like this helps make the topic feel a lot more approachable. I'm glad.
Let me
Thank you.
address that because I get that quite a bit. We'll have family members come in and say, you know, mom and dad have short-term memory loss. They're pretty good right now. They know who we are. They understand finance. That's the time to go and get at least some powers of attorney, a will, and if necessary, some sort of a trust. I recommend what we do because it's comprehensive.
Right.
We have good conversations, and again, they're flexible, allow you to manage, both finance and healthcare. Start thinking about doing some Medicaid planning, because if you get to the point where they're not able to make financial decisions, not able to make healthcare decisions, and then you look at doing documents, it's too late.
Absolutely.
So don't wait till it's too late. I mean, I've had conversations where, we meet with mom and dad, short-term memory loss is starting to occur, and they just don't want to do anything right now. No, let's do something else. Let's wait. We're not ready. Years later, their family comes in and says, mom and dad, they're here with me. Can we do something? And their memory loss is so great that they don't understand. They can't do the planning. So what do you do?
Right.
When you reach that point, you have to get a guardianship and conservatorship, and now you have to manage your parents' health care through court orders. That's probably not what you want to do because it's more difficult. You have to report to the court on an annual basis. So it's better for you, and if you can have that conversation with your parents early, make sure they understand, it makes it easier for you.
Yep.
It takes the burden off of you, and it makes it easier for them, and there's more control.
It's going to make it easier for your entire family. I can't imagine just having this conversation with my mom now. She's doing fine, but I can definitely see a decline since she fell. And so if we were having these discussions now, it would be, does that all make sense? Thank you to my oldest brother that he took care of this for her. Again, I did address this with Shawn, and I said, my brother's brilliant, and he did research for probably 6 months, and he did do his own. All I hope is that there was nothing missed.
Well, you won't know until the day comes that you need to do something. And I think that's the challenge with do-it-yourself, which I'm not saying you can't. I'm simply saying that if you don't have the conversation with an attorney, somebody that's done this a few times, I've done it, as Monica said, over 1,000 times, probably closer to 2,000, but I'm not sure.
You're not old enough for that, Shawn.
Well, I'm not old enough to have 7 grandchildren, but I do. So the real answer is, if you feel like you need to have a conversation with an attorney, I'm happy to do that. I can do a 15-minute discovery call with you, get to know you, and see if there's something that maybe makes more sense for you than maybe what you did on LegalZoom or what you did years ago. And you can just call Laura at 636-233-2017 and book that discovery call. And there's no obligation. I just want to get to know you and see if you have any questions. And what I'll do is I'll ask you questions. I'll get to know you. And then we'll find out if there's something that makes sense to go forward with.
Right, and if somebody already did start the process, and maybe you did a great job, but he can step in and say, oh, this stuff was missed. There's just some things that we got to fill in the holes here, right? You're not starting from hopefully, from day one. There are a lot of things that you've already done, but maybe he can take it from there and just say, yep, these are just some things that were missed, and that's fine. No shame to you. Bab said, my sister is every secondary school should be a course in finances to teach girls and boys about these issues. I highly recommend that as well.
I agree with that.
Stephanie said, my sister is my beneficiary. Could I add my niece and nephew on?
Absolutely.
Richard, just tuning in. Obviously, I have to go back and watch this. We've been wanting to do this for a while. Richard, this is your guy. Let me introduce you, Richard, to Shawn Estep with the Estep Law Firm. Okay, we're going to table some of this for the next show that we're going to do together, because as I mentioned, this isn't your one and only time to see Shawn. As you can tell, this is a topic we probably should have done a long time ago, and now it is a very hot topic that you want to know. I'm going to do some rapid-fire questions, okay? If you had to pick just one, if you had to pick, you can only pick one, right? This is what you take to the deserted island with yourself. Okay. Will or trust?
Trust.
Okay. Trust, folks, did you hear that? Power of attorney or healthcare directive?
I would say power of attorney.
Okay. When should a beneficiary designation be reviewed?
Beneficiary designation? Constantly.
Constantly.
Well, and let me, can I expand on that?
Yes.
Okay, so beneficiary designations are a wonderful thing. That's what my stepmother, remember the stepmother's story? So she had beneficiary designations, beneficiary deeds, all of that so that it would avoid probate. The problem is that if you don't change a beneficiary, like some of the stuff was my dad as beneficiary.
Yeah.
Okay. If you don't change that before you pass away, now you've got a probate asset.
Right. That's what I figured.
That's
okay.
why I say a trust, because everything's owned by the trust and there are instructions. Okay.
And if someone's not updating and then you're not thinking about it, which you should be, you have it done, you put all the time and effort and your finances into it, it should be, oh, we need to go back and, oh yeah, this person's no longer with us. Have you gone through, there was 3 layers for us. It's 1, 2, 3. Are all of them gone? Then where does it go to?
Exactly.
Right? So all those things to think about.
So that's why the trust works better than a POD or the will substitutes. Let's call them that. So it's simpler.
Okay.
Okay.
Again, folks, questions, you're welcome. Thank you. Good information. Char said, it is peace of mind to have all in order. Have an attorney do it. My kids are all aware of this. Yes. Please. That's your best way to go. And this is your attorney that I want you to go to. So one more thing, folks. If you remember only one thing from today's show, what would it be? What do you think? One thing that's a good takeaway for them.
That estate planning is a conversation with an attorney and is intended to clarify what you want, not what they want.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Very important. Once again, folks, many of you spend years planning vacations, right? You think about, oh, I'm going to plan a vacation for next year. You plan your weddings. Those have to usually be a year or 2 years out. Graduations, retirement. I'm thinking of Jim's retirement in just about 9 months. And we're thinking, oh, what are we going to do for
Donna
him?
just retired in May. So
yeah, that's
there
right.
you
His
go.
wife just retired. Congratulations, Donna, by the way. The one plan that can protect your loved ones during life's most difficult moments is often the one that you put off. So if today's conversation has taught you anything at all, it is to make the call, to not say we'll do it in a week, we'll do it in a month. We've got years. If today's conversation taught you anything, it's that estate planning isn't about preparing for death. It's about protecting life, family, dignity, and we just said it earlier, peace of mind. And I want to give you that peace of mind. Again, is there anything families can do before a health crisis occurs? The answer is yes. Do your planning. One more time, it's the Estep Law Firm, Estate Planning and Elder Law, 16020 Swingley Ridge Road. They're down in Chesterfield, by the way. 636-233-2017, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Send an email. Start those questions. Get more questions answered. info@esteplawfirm.com. And again, that website is Estep Law Firm. And Shawn will be back with us. We're going to do another show coming up next month. I'd like to know, what would you like for us to cover in next month's show? We have a lot that we have only really truly brushed the surface of.
Oh, absolutely. There's so much more.
Hey, look how big that binder is. We got a lot to get through. That's Fred and Wilma. Soon it will say our names because we're wrapping up our own. And we're going to give you our own process through this. I kind of told you that the beginning process of it is sitting down, questions I didn't even think about, but that's where he is there to guide you as the leader. So, Shawn, we always wrap up with a devotional at the end of every show. Okay, I'm going to let you choose 100 Days to Freedom books. These are the books that give us freedom from, okay, shame, depression, anger, fear and anxiety, or 100 Days of Healing. Which one do you feel fits with what we're talking about today that the world needs to hear?
Oh, can you go over that one more time?
Fear and anxiety is one. Shame, depression, anger, or healing.
I'll go for the first one.
Fear and anxiety?
Fear and anxiety.
Yeah, I think that seems
I think
to fit.
that's appropriate.
I don't
for this
always
one.
put that one back on the table because we have gone through 100 days of that one. That one's always chosen.
Mm-hmm.
But I threw it back in because I had a feeling that people would be fearful of kind of the discussions that we're talking about, that they don't want to have it because they feel like if they do it, then they're bringing on death. No, it is preparing and making sure that you and your loved ones are taken care of. Char, love this show. So important. Thank you. You're welcome. Linda, thank you for the show. Can't wait till next time. Shawn will be back with us. We will be right back. We're going to do 100 Days to Freedom from Fear and Anxiety. Don't go anywhere.
What if you could start your day feeling loose, relaxed, and ready? Deep hydrotherapy right in your backyard. Relax with your family or friends, or work out with our Michael Phelps Edition Swim Spas. Worried about maintenance? We have factory-trained service nearby whenever you need it. Plus, we're here for you long-term if you have any questions or need to refill supplies. You can even test spas at our showrooms. Spas and More, A+ rated, locally owned for 20 years. We put the ah in spa.
Well, thank you all for the questions. You asked some good ones. Now load them up because Shawn will be back with us next month and we'll go more in depth. Again, such an important topic that I'm really surprised that I waited so long to go through. Okay, so he picked 100 Days to Freedom from Fear and Anxiety. I'm going to ask you one more question. Pick a number between 1 and 100.
65.
65.
I just turned 65, so I thought that was appropriate.
Well, congratulations. Okay, it's called Now Go. The Lord asked Moses, who makes a person's mouth? Who decides whether people speak or do not speak, hear or do not hear, see or do not see? Is it not I, the Lord? Now go. I will be with you as you speak, and I will instruct you in what to say. Have you ever felt frozen in fear or stuck in a cycle of anxiety? No amount of encouragement from anyone can pry you loose from the rigid state of your mind. So what keeps you stuck? It could be self-doubt from previous experiences, a sense of insecurity about your capabilities, or just plain nervousness about trying something new. This passage in Scripture is so powerful because God had called Moses to lead the people out of slavery. Moses was quick to offer every excuse he could come up with to get out of being that leader. Yet at every turn, God reminded Moses that he was calling him to fulfill the role. In the verse, God reminds Moses that he created him and would be with him as he led the people to the promised land. God will be with you in every minute of every day. He will provide instructions for your life to fulfill the purpose for which he created you. If you feel like you cannot take the next step, turn to God to be assured that the one who calls you will lead you and be with you. You can trust in God's presence and will be able to move forward in your life. Today's prayer is, Lord, I'm willing to go where you lead. Help me have courage to trust that you will go with me and that you have a purpose for my life, for your glory. That's the word I want you to remember today. Trust. Wink, wink. Okay, it is again the Estep Law Firm. And for you, as you wrap up this show and you think about all the things, consume it all. Maybe go back and listen yet again. And then take this for me, please, and just start putting it all out to your followers. You might even want, sometimes people just hit and share. I always like to put something because it's coming straight from you. Wow, Monica and Shawn talked about this today. Have you done this? Or, boy, this was a wake-up call for us. Watch the whole show. Something like that. Share that with your friends and followers, and then when it comes time, which the time is now, don't keep putting it off like we did, esteplawfirm.com. Remember that, or info@Estep Law Firm, or call 636-233-2017, right?
Yep.
Got it. All right,
Awesome.
folks. And again, Shawn will be back with us next month to continue this conversation. By the way, we've got some really cool things coming up for you. Tomorrow is a Wellness Wednesday. We're going to take care of our first responders on Thursday, a really important topic that Rachel Stark is going to come in and talk about. We're going to do a little fun thing with the Fabulous Fox and some recent awards that our teenagers got. And then on Friday, it's a Foodie Friday with Nick Bognar. You know that name from Indo, Sado, Pavilion, and Cow Soy Cowboy coming up in spring of 2027. He was one of our James Beard finalists that was just in Chicago for the awards. So we've got a huge lineup of shows for you this week. And then we get into next week. We are going to do our Testament Tuesday with Jan Kaufman and Nicole Little. They are incredible interior designers from the Porch in Wildwood. And after we hear their story, we're going to go on location. We call these mobile Monicas. If you're not familiar with them, we take the show on the road and we showcase the business. But before we ever do the fun show and tell and shopping together and eating, etc., we like to tell the story behind the person, which is what we're going to do next Tuesday morning. And then again, July 14th, it's the save a date right now, noon. I'd love for you to come and join us at the Porch in Wildwood, located at 16957 Manchester Road, theporchwildwood.com. realmonica.com. And then today, Jim and I are actually going, I can't wait to see this in person. Jim and I are going over to Coconut Grove Boutique in Washington, Missouri. We're going to shoot some really cool footage because right now we've got this image and you can see some beautiful resort wear, men and women both. If you want to feel like you're always on vacation, this is the place for you. Also some really cool furniture to make your space look more resort-like. CoconutGBoutique.com. Today, it might be a dangerous day for me as I go and shop, probably, as I shoot the footage, and then we're going to start dropping some of that in. Monica Spittler's story will be July 21st, and that woman has overcome so much and then opened this incredible boutique. Again, we never know what we're going to do in life, but the thing you can do is to believe in yourself. Know that you can be anything you want to be, and if you don't believe that, surround yourself with people who do believe in you. The greatest B in life, though, is kindness. Be kind, and God bless.
The Real Monica Adams Show is brought to you by Exist Stretch. Stop by for your free consultation and 30-minute introductory stretch today.